Hi, this is Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec, and today I'm going to show you how to make this page, which is a page design I've been using a lot lately. In fact, in my last video, I made this very same page, only this time I'm using 3 photos instead of 1. Most products come from Stampin' Up's Best Route collection, including the paper, the project lifestyle cards, stamps, and enamel shapes. The first step of this page is to make a foundation page, and I also included white and black cardstock with my material here. I was just showing you what I had left of that printed paper because I've used so much of it. Anyway, as you can see, I did some faux stitching in advance around the white cardstock, and now I'm making a wide border that will be adhered to the left-hand side of the page. The widest paper measures 4 inches wide. There's a 2-inch wide strip, and then that small strip there that I just trimmed in order to add contrast between the 2 bigger pieces. Now, once this foundation page is made, then I'm going to focus on a mini page, and this technique, I call it my page on page technique, because the mini page, which you will see in a minute, is basically a photo cluster with text, title, decorations, and everything, and I create this and eventually at the end adhere it to my foundation page. Now my mini page is going to be black, and so what I'm doing here is fitting on the 3 photos, and then I will trim the black cardstock just a bit larger. I'm not measuring here, I'm quite literally using my thumb to judge where to cut. Now I'm going to glue these photos on, and you're going to notice they don't fit perfectly. The vertical photo on the right, there will be a space above the photo. So I'm going to fill that in with something. I'm going to use one of those project lifestyle cards. Stampin' Up calls them Memories and More. And other options would be simply to put a title in there, to put some decorations in there, to just put a piece of paper in there. It's almost like color blocking in a certain way. But I'm going to use this card simply because it happens to be the exact same width as my photo. So I trim it a bit because the rest would just be a waste. But I'm going to use that lined paper there to put underneath the photo, and that's where my journaling will go. Even though I'm not using my foundation page, I'm keeping it close because I want to see, obviously, how this is going to look in the end. Now in advance, I cut out some file tabs. You're going to see those in a minute with a few different papers. And I'm going to put those at the top of my mini page, at the top of my photo cluster. Those are the dies I use. They are retired dies from Stampin' Up. I use them a lot. If you don't have file tabs, you can always use just a couple layers of paper or something like that. But you can put something up there. Now I'm going to glue these down. I'm having trouble with my glue today. I don't know if you can see that on the video, but I certainly can feel it. So now that these file tabs are up in the top left-hand corner and the journaling box is in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm kind of getting a diagonal design happening here. What I'm going to do now is add a bit of color, a bit of that orange and yellow diagonal stripe at the bottom of the journaling box, only because the journaling box is white and it's on white cardstock, so I needed a little something to add contrast there. And it really does solidify the diagonal design because of the same paper up in the top left-hand corner. Now I need a title. And I'm looking through these cards because there's a lot of words on these cards. And I find this one, always take the scenic route, which is really perfect for this page, but it's too big. So I'm trimming it down, and I'm thinking at this point I'm going to cut each and every one of those little blocks out and scatter them across my page. But once I cut it out in a block, I kind of like that. I'm not going to glue it right away because really it's not what I plan to do, so I have to decide whether or not I like it. But I'm liking it, so I leave it there, and I'm going to continue. That's my cat, Lord Stanley. So I'm looking through the cards again, and I want to get some more decorations. So I'm trying to find something else. And when I decorate a page, I usually put the bigger things first and then add smaller things. So I would consider that title big, the file tabs big. And now I found this other card, and it says, "Today is your day." But I want to get rid of that blue, and it's in a circle. So I'm cutting out the circle with my Big Shot. I didn't have the right size punch, so that worked well. And that's going to go in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, I'm working on this diagonal. So now I'm going to do some stamping. And the first thing I'm going to do is stamp Adventure Awaits, because I want to put that up on the file tabs above the photos. I'm going to stamp a few times because I want to cut the words out individually. I want Adventure on one tab and Awaits on the other. And this is a word window punch. I use it all the time. It's a retired punch by Stampin' Up! And there is an equivalent in the catalog now. The ends are pointy as opposed to rounded. Anyway, there you have it. My camera stopped, it started again, and you missed absolutely nothing. Now what I'm doing here is I'm repositioning those file tabs because Adventure Awaits, it just seemed wrong that the words were too far apart, so a little disjointed. And now I'm going to stamp some more. The cardstock you see there coordinates with the paper. It's Gray Granite, Pineapple Punch, and Mango Melody. And I am stamping some icons that come in that stamp set, and I'm going to punch them out with this circle tab punch. Again, another punch by Stampin' Up! Now these are amongst smaller decorations, so now that I have bigger ones in place, I'm going to put these down, and they're going to go along the right-hand side of the photo here. The photo on that side, the cluster of decorations on that side, the right bottom hand of the, it's not all coming out wrong. The cluster at the bottom right is going to be larger than at the top left. But I am fussing quite a bit with this. So it's kind of boring to watch this. So basically, as you can see, I have created this mini page with photos, title, decorations, a spot to do my journaling, and it's still independent of my foundation page. There is one advantage to doing this, aside from the fact that it really is fun, is if I want to do some stamping or some misting or something like that, I haven't committed this photo cluster to the page, so it's easier to do that. I'm going to do some stamping in a minute on the foundation page, and had I glued all of this to the foundation page already, that would have been a bit more difficult for me. And in the same breath, had I stamped beforehand without knowing what this photo cluster would look like on the foundation page, I would never have known where I wanted to put the stamp. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. So finally, I decide the title stays. Stanley is watching closely. And this is just a trick I use when I want to stamp on a page. I'm a careful stamper. So what I do here is I stamp on a piece of scrap paper that shows me the color, number one, and also it shows me where I want to place it on the page. Now I used a stamp positioner that was called a Stamp-a-ma-jig, and that will help me position the stamp on the page where I would like it to be placed. There you have it. For some reason, I've got little pencil marks on my page. I don't know where they're coming from. Anyway, time to glue here. I'm happy with all of that. And there will only be a few finishing touches, which will be, I'm going to put on a few of those enamel shapes that come with this collection. I end up putting a geotag towards the bottom and towards the top. I really wanted to put a third one because I have it ingrained in me to use things in threes, but it just didn't make sense anywhere. So I'm kind of comfortable with just using two, and there'll always be the coordinating page I can put the third one on. So there you have it, my page. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment, ask a question, and please subscribe to Scrapbooking Quebec. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.